we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Shruki's. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go.
Good afternoon, Lancaster. My name is Ben McClure. This is Lancaster Connects, the show that highlights great people doing great things in the Lancaster County area. Got a couple of great guests that we'll bring on in just maybe 5 to 7 minutes or so. I wanted to highlight a couple of guests that we've had on previous shows that were part of that introduction. So Whiff Roasters was one of the last clips that you saw in that introduction. Great partner of ours. We actually give Whiff Roaster coffee to every customer that makes a purchase here in Lancaster, or at Gardner's Mattress and More, the business with which we sit inside. And so we give every customer a couple portion packs of Whiff Roaster coffee flavors. I wanted to highlight them because they're up in Lidditz on Main Street. They have a roastery, and they used to have a coffee shop. Couldn't think of the right word, in the Wilbur building downtown, and they had to close that because they're doing some renovations in that building, and they took the coffee shop, or actually their roastery location, and turned it into this coffee shop, and they just opened. It's taken a little bit, probably taken longer than Keith and the team there at Whiff would have liked to have, but their new location is beautiful. And Chris, maybe there's a picture on Facebook. I'm not sure. There it is. Yeah. So they've got a new entrance. That's a picture of the inside of the revamped, redesigned roastery facility. You see all the coffee for sale there. And of course, it's a coffee shop where you can go in and get all the great things that you used to be able to get at the market at Wilbur. Now you can get it right there in the roastery location. It's right there on Main Street, maybe 2 or 3 blocks down from the square there in Lidditz. So I'm excited to go there and check it out. The pictures are amazing. I've talked to Keith about it a little bit, and he's really excited about this new renovation that they did. And then we know that dogs, puppies, animals, any furry creatures always boost the ratings. And in a few weeks, we've got UDS, the the service dogs. And one of the dogs was in the introduction there, and it reminded me that they are coming up on the show in a few weeks here. So that we're looking forward to that. As you see, I'm flying solo today. Partner in crime here, Jeff, is at the Las Vegas Furniture Market this week. Flew out last week and doing some cool things with other people in the industry in terms of training and developing other business owners and retail mattress store owners just like ourselves, teaching them some of the things that we've done over the years, which is really, really cool. We love to see when other retailers implement things that we've found success with here, and we love to see other retailers, small independent retailers like us, win across the country. So Jeff is doing a little bit of that, and also looking for new products here, and of course talking to other retailers about the cool things that they do, talking to vendors, and we always come back with some cool things to either show on our showroom floor, provide to our customers new information that we can help our customers with. So Jeff's out there doing all kinds of fun things like that out in Las Vegas. It's hot out there, so he's braving the heat. It's not so bad here, end of July. It's kind of, really pretty nice. Had a nice weekend, not too hot, not too cold. But yeah, he's braving the heat out there, so we wish him safe travels. So you got me today, flying solo. Got a great show today. Like I said, we've got 2 great guests. We'll bring them on in a moment here. You can watch this show, Lancaster Connects, on the Lancaster Connects YouTube channel. Would love for you to go there now and give that page a subscribe. Love that. Just hit the subscribe button there. You can also watch it on Facebook, both on the Lancaster Connects Facebook page. And if you're watching on Facebook, give us a comment. Comment on YouTube too. We see those. If you have questions for our guests, questions for me, comments about the show, whatever, give us some comments. We'd love to highlight those during the show and ask those questions if you have questions of our guests. Also, the Gardener's Mattress and More YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to that one. You can like us on Facebook, of course, as well. Well, enough from me. Let's get our guests on. We've got Haley Feaster and Kate Prisby from the Keystone Trails Association, KTA for short. Haley and Kate, thanks for being on.
Thank you so much for having us.
So we've if there's a delay, we've got a little mute button thing going on. So we're trying to avoid the awkward Zoom call like, hey, you're muted. If it happens, it happens. But I know there's a mute button thing between the two of you here. So we'll just get through it, right? So thank you both for being on. Haley, if you could just share what your responsibility is with KTA, and Kate, will have you do the same, and then we'll dig into what the KTA is.
Yeah, Ben, thank you so much for having us. So my responsibility here at KTA is communications, so communicating externally what programs and events and news that we want to share that we're doing here at KTA. So I'm the communications manager, and I'm about 4 months into this role.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've boosted like Instagram followers by like double, I've heard.
That I will be modest and say it was a little less than that, but my predecessor, right. Yes, okay, yeah.
Kate, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much for having both myself and Haley. So my name's Kate Prisby, and I've been with KTA exactly 1 week longer than Haley. We both started back in March. I manage the events and programs for Keystone Trails Association. So that ranges from smaller workshops like wilderness first aid trainings that might be 3 days long, to events that are multiple days covering a larger territory, like our upcoming October event, Keystone Hiking and Outdoor Weekend, which we'll excitedly share some information about a little bit later in the podcast.
Yeah, you have a ton of events. We'll show those events later, and yeah, we'll definitely talk about them. I know there's some cool events for the people of Lancaster in Lancaster County coming up later here in the summer. So yeah, we'll dig into those events there later in the show. Who'd like to tell us what the Keystone Trail Association is, how it got started, and what you do?
So I'll jump in, and if Kate wants to add anything, we're happy to do so. So KTA actually, it started back in the 1950s as the organization maintaining the Appalachian Trail going through Pennsylvania. And while we still do maintain a portion of the Appalachian Trail, trail care and trail maintenance is still very much so at the heart of what KTA is and will always be. But we do our mission up there, the 3 Ps, is to provide, preserve, protect, and promote hiking trails as well as hiking opportunity to all Pennsylvanians.
So that's interesting. So you started out doing really just the Pennsylvania portion of the Appalachian Trail. Of course, it goes from Georgia to Maine, is it? Or
yes, right? Georgia to Maine, yes.
And the KTA was developed to maintain that, but now you maintain a smaller portion of the Appalachian Trail and really maintain other hiking trails in the state. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So definitely a nod to our executive director that we have now. And it can be noted to Kate and I both starting around the same time. If you look at the history of KTA, this was a volunteer organization that actually didn't receive the 501c3 status until the 80s. And so going back a little bit, this all about trail maintenance, all volunteer led. I think that that's still very much so the heart and soul of our organization is the stewardship of our volunteers. We would never be able to operate without them. And within the last few years, we went from a staff of 2 to now we have 6. And yeah, so it's been a really big nod to our executive director, Brooke Linker. He's been with the organization a little over 2 years. And as I came on board with on the communication side, we hired Kate, events and programming, and then also brought on Al Germain, and he is specifically doing trail care in the Pennsylvania Wilds portion of the state. We also have a director of merchandise and admin, Casey Schneck, and then Jen Ulmer, and she's our director of trail maintenance. So a team of 6 now, and I think that that just shows the growth. And not only do we still maintain a portion of the Appalachian Trail, but we have trail care throughout the state. And we like to say, promoting, protecting, preserving as the voice of the trail community in Pennsylvania.
So that's interesting. Anytime I'm hiking, I mean, and there's some beautiful hikes in Pennsylvania and specifically Lancaster County, some really amazing hikes. I always wonder, like, who does maintain these trails? Because some of these trails are long and really require, I would think, a lot of maintenance. So if I'm walking on any given trail in Pennsylvania or Lancaster County, is it fair to say that the KTA has had some hand in maintaining that trail?
So it's a tricky question to answer.
Hmm.
So trails definitely receive love from a variety of different volunteers and
Okay.
maintainers. It depends on the ownership of the land. If it's state forest, state game land, we're involved with both of those. If it's the state park, with being DCNR or the Pennsylvania Game Commission, we have done trail care on both of those ownership properties, as well as a local town. If it's a water authority that owns the trail around the reservoir, there's all sorts of different variations that ownership could fall under. And, there are local trail clubs. So we also like to, we're communicating with all of the trail clubs throughout the state that we have communications with. So the Cumberland Valley Appalachian Trail Club, a local trail club, for example, they'll maintain a portion of the Appalachian Trail and do a lot. So not only, we aren't an official umbrella organization for all of these trail clubs, but we do offer the support, communications, and advocacy that we can for all of these smaller trail clubs all throughout the state. So we're not doing the trail care definitely alone. It's definitely a collaboration of a lot of different maintainers and stewards. But our trail care team is busy year round out offering hand and support and offering the organization of a long volunteer weekend. And we can get a little bit into our trail care a little bit deeper if you would like.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah. I would like to know more about becoming a volunteer and the volunteers, because like you said earlier, you can't do anything with the volunteers, right? Pennsylvania's a big state, and there's a ton of trails and opportunities to maintain. So yeah, let's expand on that. I did see in the research of the show that it's the 40th anniversary this year of the trail care program at KTA.
Oh, you definitely just took my one-liner. Yes, it is our darn it. We are celebrating our 40th birthday celebration, of trail care here in Pennsylvania. And actually, so this year we celebrated and we did National Trails Day, which was June 1st, a one-day volunteer extravaganza in the South Mountain Partnership region. We partnered with the South Mountain Partnership, and we did, an all-day trail care event. We had about 60 volunteers covering 4 projects in the Michaud State Forest. It was really awesome. But throughout our 40th anniversary season, we've hosted events helping land stewards all throughout the state. And we're about a third of the way through our trail care series that lasts 3 to 4 days. And that's awesome. Yes, thank you. Information's available on our website about how to get involved. It's a very welcoming experience. And a lot of people, they don't have those 3 to 4 days. If you're only able to come for 2 days, a day, or a portion, we welcome the helping hands whenever you're able to join us. There's information on how you can register or learn more. So as you see, our team's very busy.
Yeah. So, Kate, is this where you manage the events? Do you have a hand in putting these events together and managing these events and organizing the people that are attending?
I actually do not manage these events.
Okay.
The trail care portion of Keystone Trails Association's work is so large that we have 2 staff that are dedicated to the trail work portion
Gotcha.
of KTA. One of them is out in the field today. And the other thing I wanted to add to what Haley just said was, if you are curious or interested in trail work, but you've never done it, one of the things that's really great about these weekends is that there are things for somebody that's completely new. And then there are also much more in-depth skills. So if, kind of cutting back the brush that's starting to overgrow a trail, or reblazing a trail is more of one's ability level, we've got things like that. We've also got folks that have gone through chainsaw certifications and can go out after a major storm and help reopen trails. So there's a lot of variety, and also a lot of training opportunities that are built into the trail care program.
So I have a couple questions there related to that. These events, these weekend events, trail care events. How many volunteers might come out? Might you expect at one of these events? Do you have like an average, or have you had one that was like so many people came that you didn't expect to come, or what's the deal there?
I would say it varies. Some of the projects have had a smaller turnout, maybe 8 to 10,
Okay.
but frequently there are closer to 20 people coming for a
Wow.
weekend. The folks that show up for the all-day Friday work tend to be more of the retirees.
Sure.
And then folks that are still working full-time jobs will frequently drive, even if it's the whole way across the state, get in the car at the end of the work week, get out late Friday night, camp with everybody else, wake up early, enjoy breakfast around a then smoldering campfire, and head out onto the trail all day before returning for a great meal around campfire and community. So it's also a really nice way to just build community with other folks that love the outdoors.
So that's cool. That you brought up something there. So you can camp. So you have a specific spot at each of these trail events that you camp. You can camp, I guess, if you want. I guess you could show up for a day and come home, right? But you could camp there, which that's really cool. Build community, and then of course maintain a trail. I think that's a great concept. How about kids? Do you get kids that volunteer? Like parents bring the kids along?
Yeah, I'm honestly not aware of any kids that have been coming out. I would assume that probably depends on the kind of project work.
Okay, right.
And I would assume generally it'd be more feasible for older kids.
Yeah,
so like high school on up. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
But locally, in the Lancaster, York area, KTA also will partner with nonprofit partners. So a year or two ago, did some volunteer trail work out at Wizard Ranch with Lancaster Conservancy. So there also are very short-term programs that KTA staff and occasionally volunteers will partner with local land trusts as well. So it really runs the gamut of where the need is and where the partnership exists.
And those events, Chris, can you bring up the website again? Those are listed on the website, the trail care events, the upcoming ones?
Yes, they are.
That's really cool. And then there's a sign up link right there. So are these, I guess, free to attend? Like you don't have to pay anything to be part of this. You come, you camp, and you're volunteering your time. I'm assuming that's the case?
Yes. I believe that is generally the case. And if there is any cost with any of the events, it would just be to help cover food, which gets
Food, yeah.
provided. So that
Yep.
would be your meals on Friday through your meals on Sunday. Um, and then if there is a lodging cost, but my understanding is lodging is frequently waived because the site
Yep.
where we're staying is the one that's benefiting from the work.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there's full information right there on these links. That's great. So yeah, so you can
Yeah,
see where you're camping, all the details, what you're actually doing. They have, I see the bullet points listed out of what needed to be done at that particular trail care session. That's cool. Go ahead, Kaylee. I think you were saying.
yeah, I just wanted to point out another series of trail care that Jen arranged this year at Latort Garden, the Latort Garden Preserve in Carlisle. In partnership with the Central Pennsylvania Conservancy, we started Tuesday trail care program. So once a month during the summer months on Tuesdays, just about 9 a.m. till a little after noon, a trail care opportunity to go out and to volunteer and help at the Latort Garden Preserve. And this past Tuesday, we partnered with Women Who Explore. And if you want to talk about an impressive social media, um, an impressive social media presence, we were so thrilled to have their partnership. It was a
Mm,
women-only volunteer day this past Tuesday. So we're really grateful to have been able to be out at the gardens and do that series. So year to year, things will change a little bit, and we do field some requests from different organizations or locations that would need the assistance.
that's great. So actually, Chris just flashed the website on the screen there, kta-hike.org. Is that the best place for somebody to find out all of these events and all of the information related to the events? Is that the best place to go?
Yes, that is definitely the best place to go. We try to keep everything as current and as
Yep.
updated as possible, and contact information for the appropriate individual here at KTA listed.
And Haley, I'm sure as the communications director, you're sharing all of these events on your social media as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So definitely, if you're listening, watching, go to the Facebook page, go to Instagram, like, follow, whatever the button says to do. I don't know what it is on Instagram, but I know on Facebook, give it a like, give it a follow, and yeah, you can stay up to date on everything that's out there. It is follow. Yeah, follow on Instagram. Stay up to date on everything that the Keystone Trails Association is doing. That was a lot of great information about trail care. Really, really cool that you get groups of volunteers to come to, and I'm sure they're super excited to be outdoors, to be with other people, and to maintain these trails so everybody can enjoy them. That's just really, really cool. How about membership? I know you have membership opportunities. Can you expand on those a little bit?
Sure. So, yeah, we do have a few different levels of membership that are all outlined on the website if you'd like to check them out. I think it's a great way for individuals to stay connected. We do try our very best to keep folks informed on what's happening, both as local as possible, but also state. And across the country on trail related issues. So we do like a portion of advocacy updates. We will survey for our members' opinions, so we can best represent the voices of our trail care of our trail community. So yes, there's different membership options. Individuals, as well as under 25, they get a little bit of a discount. Trail
Mm,
clubs. So, we have different organizations and trail clubs that will join, and there are different benefits within that. And then partners or other nonprofits that want to join in.
got you. So members are basically they get some benefits on their own or for being a member, and then of course their donations benefit the KTA and the efforts of the KTA. That's fantastic. You said organizations can be a member as well.
Yes, absolutely. I think we've been more event fundraiser specific for organizations, but there are opportunities for organizations to sponsor just as a partner as well,
Okay.
or as a member, quote unquote.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Um, let's get into the events. Kate, this is your department here. I know we've got some cool events coming up here in Lancaster, Lancaster County, and the Susquehanna area. Maybe you could just talk in general about the events that you do. We talked about the trail care events. These are different. You have all kinds of other hiking themed events and weekend events and whatnot. So maybe you can talk a little bit about like what these events are, and then we can talk about the Lancaster's specific events.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone that is into hiking generally has a sense of exploration and always wants to see what is both close to home, but then also a little bit farther afield. Since Keystone Trails Association is a statewide organization, we try to be intentional about having our events spread throughout the state on any given year. So no matter what corner of Pennsylvania you live in, you will find something relatively in your neck of the woods. So this year, those things have ranged from a 3-day spring hiking weekend that took place back in April, and that was up in the Poconos. And that featured roughly, I think it was close to 25 different hikes that volunteer hike leaders coordinated. And then KTA put together, a packet of hike options, and folks signed up for the ones that both suited their learning curiosity and then also that their physical abilities, how far they could hike.
Right.
Then we have other things that are geared more towards building new skill sets. And that can range from learning wilderness first aid. So if you become injured or you come across an injured hiker when you're out hiking, you have the know-how of how to respond. And then we also have things that are tailored more specifically to club members. So this fall, we're going to be having a Saturday workshop for all of our trail clubs. And it's going to be essentially a compilation of different skills and trainings that the clubs can walk away with to help them reach new members, expand their membership, and really address the needs of those individual clubs. So it varies from trying to support individual people in connecting to landscapes across Pennsylvania, and also supporting trail clubs that are historically what KTA has been all about.
That's really, really cool. So you have events that, are more hiking driven, and then you have events that you can actually like learn something. So you mentioned first aid. That's cool. I saw something that was like Slack Pack or something. I'm not sure. I don't know what that is. What's that?
So Slack Pack, I would say for somebody that's comfortable with backpacking, they're not yet sure if they're comfortable. They're comfortable with day hiking, but they aren't sure if they're comfortable backpacking. There's this thing that kind of is in the middle called slack packing. So it essentially is a supported long distance hike. So the slack packs happen over the course of a couple of days. It's a small group of people, and KTA works with staff and volunteers to come up with a long distance hike and to provide housing. And then we also provide a shuttle. So you can complete a very long trail over the course of 3 days, but you have a place to return to sleep without carrying everything that you would carry if you were backpacking.
Okay, so that's interesting. So I guess the definition of backpacking is more like you're bringing a tent or whatever you're sleeping in.
Yes.
And slack packing, you actually have a roof to sleep under, provided
a roof
by
or an established tent site, and a shuttle. So you get so far on day one, and then you get picked up. You get brought back to where you're staying, and then day two, you get transported to where you finished on day one, and you get to keep expanding on hiking the same trail, but you don't need to actually carry a tent with you for the night.
Yep. That's cool. That's cool. So that's a good way to get into backpacking if you're just not, day hikes for, to go to backpacking from that, from day hikes to backpacking might be a big step. So that's cool that you offer something that's in between. I'd never heard the term slack pack before.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
To hiking people, I guess maybe it makes sense, but to me it didn't. So,
It is new. It's a new term. I wanted to
okay,
jump in
yeah,
and talk about the two slack packs that we have this year because they're
yeah,
a little different in scope. So the first one that we'll be doing is in World's End State Park, and our executive director will be hosting that, and we're calling that a primitive slack pack, and that will be tent camping, cooking around the fire,
okay,
and also a shuttle still. So be shuttling on the Loyal Sock Trail. And then later in October, we will be hosting a slack pack on the Laurel Highlands hiking trail. And our headquarters will be in Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania. So in a hotel with a shower. So if that's a little more your speed, or if you want to do a more primitive route, we're trying to definitely offer an opportunity for someone that is very curious about backpacking,
yeah.
and offer a platform for whatever level you feel comfortable in. So we're really excited to roll these out this fall.
That's cool. So if you've never backpacked before and you've never done, a slack pack hike before, when you sign up or before you sign up or, on the page, is there information on like what you need to bring? Like, let's say you have no gear, like, do you direct people on what to get or what they should have? Do you have like a packing list for them?
That's a great question. Our staff is certainly available to help folks with some of those questions.
Yeah.
And just earlier today, we were talking about the need to set up a gear lending library here in
Oh,
our
that's cool.
headquarters. So as we get folks that are looking to use these opportunities as a way to kind of test the water, obviously, I mean, backpacking in particularly can be pretty expensive when it comes down to
Right.
the equipment. So yeah, trying to figure out how to assist people in figuring out what gear is needed, but also giving folks an opportunity to test a couple of different kinds of gear out before they make the
Right.
financial investment themselves.
Right. Right. Yeah, I could see that being a really cool thing to have available for somebody that's, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with anything you might get into. You have to buy a bunch of stuff to get into it. And like, there's all kinds of brands and different price levels. And I'm sure, yeah, like you said, it's not inexpensive. So having like a library of gears is pretty cool idea. I like that.
And I think this Slack Pack 2 is a great entry for folks before you go out, and buy all of the gear, especially for the one that will be staying at a hotel. Really what you need to bring is your day pack, and we can definitely provide examples of what one should bring.
Yep.
And for these, we also do support like a bagged lunch for individuals. So the food is also provided by KTA on these trips. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's cool. So a couple more questions about the events. Are these events like rain or shine sort of things? I mean, if you're outdoors, right? So you're in the elements.
Yeah, so usually the events we have, I would say they are rain or shine.
Yep.
Um, Occasionally really severe heavy rain that might change things.
Sure.
But for the most part, we try to we try to plan our events for when the weather is a little bit nicer.
Hmm.
We're talking about expanding out into the winter because we do have a pretty large audience that really enjoys winter hiking. But then that's a whole nother conversation about the kind of gear that you need to have and some additional skills for being out in the woods,
Sure.
especially if there's snow. But yeah, for the most part, unless it's really severe weather, yes, we try to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought. Of course, you have to consider safety. Yeah, extreme, weather or downpours and things like that. And that was going to be my follow up question was, do you offer these events or hiking opportunities in the winter? In the snow time? Like I know people like to do that. So that's kind of cool that you're planning some winter hikes as well.
Yeah, looking to add in some winter hikes and then also some wouldn't say like wilderness first aid, but some additional skills training that is a bit more pertinent to the winter.
So I'm glad you brought up the first aid thing again. What's involved in that event?
It honestly depends what level of certification you're looking
Oh,
for.
okay.
So basic wilderness first aid generally is a 2-day in-person training. That goes over a lot of things like the more common accidents. So a lot of cuts, abrasions, you know, mild heat exhaustion or
Okay.
hypothermia. And then you can go to a much longer training called Wilderness First Responder, which is roughly 9 days of in-person training or 4 days, 40 hours of online training with a 5-day in-person component.
Wow.
And that gets into pretty much you name it, you get some sort of training and how to deal with it in the middle of the wilderness.
Yeah.
But that's also a lot of, you know, splinting, broken bones, concussions. And I would say all of these trainings they're focused on the outdoor enthusiast in general. So they're applicable to folks that might be into whitewater rafting, you know, ice
Right.
climbing, rock climbing. Yeah, good for anyone that's spending time outdoors and might get injured or come across somebody that's injured.
Right. That's really cool. I mean, I had no idea that there were classes for that. I mean, it makes sense, but I've just never thought of that. So that's cool that if somebody's interested in learning some either basic first aid, outdoor specific first aid, or more in depth first aid, like making a splint, because that's what I thought of when you said first aid. You know, it was like you break your arm and then you have to go find some things in the wilderness to put it back together, right? You know, that's cool that you offer that sort of event or training. So that's
Yeah,
really
and
cool.
I would say really the training all comes down to the more you plan ahead and prepare,
Yep.
and go out with all the information that you need. So not just the maps, but also what is the weather, what is going to
Right.
make your hike perhaps a little bit more dangerous or precarious. You know, a lot of it is risk management and risk mitigation, but
Right.
still accidents happen, and then hopefully you have what's in your first aid kit so you can make that splint and you aren't looking for the right size rock or piece of wood.
Right, right. That's cool. That's cool. How about the Lancaster events? The I know you've got the hiking and outdoor weekend, and then there's a trail challenge. Maybe a run or trail challenge. Let's talk about those.
Yeah, so we have two things coming up late summer, early fall with Keystone Trails Association that are going to be in the Lancaster County area. The first is Trail Challenge, which used to be called the KTA Super Hike. So, in case anyone's
Mm.
listening and has heard of the Super Hike but not Trail Challenge, they are the same thing.
Okay.
So we're going on close to the 10th year of Trail Challenge, and it's a 25K race, so
Wow.
roughly
Okay.
half marathon distance. It starts at the Peckway Creek Campground and then makes its way down to Susquehannock State Park. So folks that are familiar with a lot of the trails in that area, we've got the Conestoga Trail, a bunch of trails
Yeah.
that cut through Lancaster Conservancy properties, climb up over the Pinnacle, go
Yeah.
through Kelly's
Beautiful.
Run. Yeah, so it's a way for people that are into long distance hiking or trail running to get out and have a race that covers some of the most beautiful scenic
Mm.
areas in Lancaster County. So the
So.
registration is open online right now for that. The price, like most races, it changes depending on when you actually register.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it's a really great way to get out, be in the woods, and the proceeds from the event help KTA do trail work throughout the state. So it's a way of
And
also giving back to the hiking community and the trail community.
that's cool. Is this the only such event that you do each year in Pennsylvania? Like, is this the one for 2024?
This is the only long distance hiking race and running race that we have. It is always in Lancaster
Oh,
County.
okay, great.
So yeah, Lancaster County residents and neighbors are lucky that this is always in their back door.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, and you can see from some of these pictures that sometimes the weather hasn't been so great for this.
Yeah,
Uh, but honestly, from folks I've talked to, it always seems that when the weather is not great, it makes the event that much more memorable and people are that much
sure.
more proud that they participated. From the organizer standpoint, I'm hoping the weather is glorious and just really mellow that day.
Yep. Yep. So it looks like from the pictures, you have some that really make it a race. They're running.
Yes,
And then looks like you have others that are taking their time. Yeah, I'm sure
absolutely.
you have a mix of everybody, right?
Yep. The event starts at 8:15 this year at Peckway Creek Campground.
Okay.
And our hope is that everybody is off the race course and enjoying the picnic at Susquehannock State Park no later than 6 p.m. We will
Okay.
have we'll have designated trail sweeps bringing up the rear to make sure that nobody gets left behind in the woods.
It's good.
And then we'll have a number of aid stations throughout the race course with
Okay. Yeah.
food, porta potties, stationed medics. So yeah, and
That's
if you
awesome.
if you start and you can't finish, there's no shame. Somebody can pick you up
Right.
from an aid station.
Right. That's really cool. Um, what's the date of that one again?
That is Saturday, September 7th.
7th. And
Yes.
to sign up right there on the page, so go to the events tab, find the trail challenge for September 7th, and you can sign up right there. What is the cost to be involved right now?
That has been varying slightly just based on when people sign up.
Right.
But we started off at around $90.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Very good.
yep. So if folks still are waiting to sign up, they should be able to get the price at 75 right now. If you wait a
That's
little
great.
bit longer, it'll cost you a little bit more, but
That makes
it'll
sense.
still be worth your investment. You
And
wait,
do you
you just donate that much more to KTA.
that well, that's it. It's all a donation. Everything is a benefit to KTA. That's fantastic. How about the other event, the hiking weekend?
Yes. So this year we are so excited. We've got this 3-day collaborative event coming up called the Keystone Hiking and Outdoor Weekend. It's the first time KTA has ever done anything like this.
Oh wow,
It's
that's cool.
on, yeah, it's Friday, October 18th through Sunday the 20th. And the premise of this weekend is to showcase the Susquehanna Riverlands. So this is a designated conservation landscape, and it spans both York and Lancaster counties. And so what we're doing is we're having 3 days of events that show off the outdoors and also conservation initiatives in this region. As you can see, there are a ton of partners.
Yeah.
We've got close to 20 different nonprofit partners, hiking clubs, organizations that are offering things. So if you are into fly fishing, you're into hiking, you're into cycling on rail trails, you want to clean up the Susquehanna,
Hmm.
you want to get out and learn about how plastics and microplastics are impacting our waterways and what you can do to clean up waterways. We've got a ton of different opportunities taking place.
That's great.
And yeah, it should be a really great chance for anyone that enjoys the outdoors to find multiple events that interest them, and then also to meet folks with similar interests that you might not know live in the same neck of the woods that you do.
So do you need to sign up for this, or you just show up if you want to be part of it, you just show up?
Yes, you do need to sign up ahead of time.
You sign up. Okay.
So, yep, the next couple of weeks we should have our registration page live for this event.
Okay.
And there will be a flat fee, $25 for everyone that is over 18. You're 18 and younger, it is free to come, but you still need
Oh,
to
great.
register.
Yeah.
And the reason we're having registration is so we can tell all of our partners, here's how many people are coming to the event that you're leading. And then in the instance of things like fly fishing or some of the boat rides that are happening where equipment is needed, that way we'll make sure we have the right amount of equipment for the amount of participants that are
That
attending.
makes that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's really really cool that you're doing the first one right here in York and Lancaster counties.
Yeah, we're completely excited, and I can't say enough about all of the folks that have collaborated and said yes to helping out with the 3-day weekend. Personally, as a resident of Lancaster County, I have really enjoyed learning about all of the amazing work that these other organizations are doing in the area, and have felt very privileged that people have been willing to say yes to jump on board with this first ever event like this that we're hosting.
That's great. So yeah, you'll have to let us know when the registration page is available. We can share that out for you. I
Fabulous.
love it. I love it. praying for great weather, great weather for all your events. But that one, the first one, right here in Lancaster County,
Yeah,
gotta
I will
have
say
great weather for that.
we've managed to line up a bunch of things that can be done indoors if needed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and also a lot of things that are accessible. So really have been trying to look at this
Mm,
through the lens of figuring out ways to make sure that everyone in our community is invited and has a place in the weekend.
that's awesome. So important. That's great. Well, I just realized it's like we're coming up to the 3 o'clock hour here. So we've talked about a lot. Thanks for sharing about KTA. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you're just itching to get out about Keystone Trails Association?
I think the only thing that I would just like to throw in is we do also host international fundraisers, a way to,
Okay.
get out and explore with a group. And we try to facilitate that out of the Harrisburg area. So there's travel for folks that want to go in groups, or it's
Oh, cool.
facilitated. We plan out the itinerary. We did just get back from Nova Scotia,
That's so
Newfoundland,
cool.
sorry. And we are headed to St. John's in January. So
That's
there's more
awesome.
information on our website. If you're outdoorsy and, looking to travel with a group and experience some new things, I think that's definitely something to check out. And then if you
That's
just want to
very
stay
cool.
local too, I'll just piggyback off of Kate's comments about the Keystone Hiking and Outdoors Weekend in the Lancaster, York um, uh, Conservancy area. That is definitely modeled to get out there and choose your own adventure, with the price point being around, being at $25
Yeah,
for a 3-day weekend. I think it's just a great opportunity for folks to get out there and say, if I like this, I might like this, and get into something that they knew nothing about. It's a great exposure and experience for folks.
that's really, really cool. Kate, do you have anything else to add?
I'd just say if you're curious about KTA, join us for an event, and
Yeah,
we'd love to have you again. But if you decide you're a solo hiker and you really don't want to do a community thing, that's totally fine too. Um, we try to support hikers of all varieties out there.
that's great. That's great. Well, thanks for being on the show. We've got our connection cocktail coming up, but thank you for sharing all about the Keystone Trails Association. Really, I didn't know much about the organization at all until you became a guest here on our show. It was great to learn about the hiking opportunities, the events, the first aid. That's cool for those that want to learn outdoor first aid. The trail care program for those who want to volunteer to help maintain the trail systems. All really, really cool. So thank you, Haley, and thank you, Kate, for being on the show to share about that. Ready for some connection cocktail questions? Just a few questions to get to know the two of you a little bit better.
Oh, fire away.
All right, let's go. So, first question: your dream job, is it working for the KTA, or was there, as a kid, was there like this dream job that you wanted to do?
I honestly, as a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist, a
There you go.
ballerina, a teacher, ran the gamut. But I'd say I've been really fortunate that I've never had a job that hasn't lined up with personal values and
That's
things
cool.
that also match my interests. So been really lucky. Always worked with good organizations, including this one.
That's great. So you're a hiker then, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. That makes sense. Hey, Haley, how about you? Oh,
This is so fun because I feel like I'm like oh,
you're on mute. You were on mute, but now you're good.
okay. Yeah, this is fun. I feel like I'm living out my dream job right now. I
That's cool.
initially was studying broadcasting at
Oh,
ASU
wow.
and thought, oh, this is what I want to do. But I'm loving where I am, definitely within the conservation landscape and
That's
within
cool.
outdoor recreation, highlighting all of Pennsylvania's best kept secrets, in my opinion. I want to say that actually, back to the job that I'm doing now, and it's enjoyable for me to work with the social media
Yeah.
and work on Instagram connecting. I think it's a great resource for individuals to get out and find a hike that they might not have known about. We have a awesome network of content creators that are sharing accessible, free,
That's cool.
amazing content. And, we thank you for highlighting different organizations and individuals that are giving back. And I just want to say thank you. I think sometimes it's not often shared or, thanked to those people that are out there all the time filming and sharing what they're experiencing. And we're grateful for that. So I'm
Yeah,
part of living my dream, out in the
that's cool.
comms world and trying to make it work and pulling these, microphones out the last second. But dream job, I would probably have like an animal sanctuary with just so many
Okay.
rescue dogs. That's my heart and soul. So,
Just all the rescue dogs.
all the rescue dogs. Yes, we're hoping, to definitely incorporate a dog-friendly hike into some of our activations moving
Oh, cool.
forward and to do some programming around safely hiking with your dog. Because if you think about preparing for yourself, you would definitely also have to prepare for your animals as well.
We
That's my
had
plug.
a few weeks ago, we had the golden retriever rescue that's up in the Berks County, like northern Lancaster County, kind of bordered to Berks County area, dvgrr.org. They were cool, and they brought a little pup on. The ratings go through the roof when there's a dog.
I mean, talk
It's
about my
great.
dream come true. That is definitely it. I
So
need an office dog. Yeah.
they would be a great organization to connect with if you're maybe try to partner there. All right, so let's see. Kate, I think you said you were a Lancaster County resident. Favorite Lancaster County hike?
Oh,
Putting you on the spot.
yeah, that's a good one. So I live in Lidditz, and
Okay.
kind of depends on the time of year. February, March, definitely Middle Creek to see the bird
Oh, okay.
migration. Absolutely stunning. I'd say if you're local and you can go at night, it is a surreal experience to hike out to Willow Point at night when it's pitch black, and
Wow.
then know that all of the snow geese and tundra swans have been startled because you can hear the beat of their wings as they lift up, but you can't actually see them. So a great auditory hiking experience.
So wait, okay, so that's at midnight
Well, just once
in.
it's dark.
Oh, okay, all
February,
right.
yeah, February or March when the tundra swans and snow geese come to Middle Creek.
And then
It's
okay,
kind of a
and then there's
cheat
this.
because half of Middle Creek is in Lebanon County and half of it is in Lancaster, but
Okay,
I think that part of Willow Point is technically in the Lancaster County side.
so you hike. You said Willow Point, so you hike to Willow Point with like a flashlight,
Yes.
and
Yep.
then
And then you turn it off and you just wait. And inevitably, a coyote or a fox or something
okay,
comes
and
to
then
the border of the lake and startles one. And then you get to
they all go,
hear tens of thousands to 100,000 birds lift off. It's pretty amazing.
and you can't see them. That's cool.
Can't
I've
see
never heard of doing that. Are there other people that do this? Like,
Well, I imagine it's more than just my family and my friends that have done it.
okay, all right. I wasn't sure if there's
Maybe I'll
like.
meet them this upcoming winter out there. They'll say, "Oh,
There
I
you
heard
go.
this podcast and I decided to go in the middle of the night."
I didn't
Check the
because I know
weather.
that.
This is part of being prepared. It's cold then.
Gotcha. I know the snow geese are only there for a short period of time, so I didn't know if it was like a thing that people really do, and there's like a whole group of people that are going out there to do that. But that's really cool. I've never thought of doing a hike at night in the dark. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I like hiking in the daylight too, but that is
Well,
one that
yeah,
is very unique to the location.
that's cool. Haley, do you have a favorite Pennsylvania hike?
I absolutely do. So I'm from Bedford, Pennsylvania, so Bedford
Okay.
County. I love the Buchanan State Forest in our area. There is a section of the Mid-State Trail. So
Mm,
the Mid-State Trail is one of Pennsylvania's major hiking trails, along with the Appalachian Trail. There's a few other
mm.
major through hiking trails or long distance trails in Pennsylvania. But there's a section of the Mid-State Trail that's called the Garlic Trail
Oh,
in Bedford, Pennsylvania, and it is gorgeous. It runs along a beautiful babbling creek and tons of flora, fauna. It's gorgeous. It's very serene. And I would definitely wear long pants, loose fitting
okay.
clothes, and make sure you check yourself for ticks after.
Well, it's probably could be said with just about any Pennsylvania
Yes, yes,
trail, right?
definitely need to be safe about that.
Yeah, and Bedford County, where that's Western PA.
Yes, so it is Western Pennsylvania, just a little east of the Laurel Highlands.
Okay.
But yeah, so like the Allegheny Mountains.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very good. Well, thanks to the two of you. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Haley, for being on the show, sharing about Keystone Trails Association, sharing your favorite hikes. That's cool. I'm gonna have to check out the after dark hike. That's cool. I love it. I love it.
I'd love to see you out there.
Yeah, right, right. Yep, with flashlights. Yep, yep. Very cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to share about the KTA and all the great work that you do. Continue doing that, and yeah, we'll share us the registration link when it becomes available for the weekend event here in Lancaster. We'd love to share that out for you.
Great. Thank you so much for having both of us. And yeah,
Yeah,
hope to see all the followers that are watching at either Trail Challenge or Keystone Hiking and Outdoor Weekend.
great. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you
Have a
very
great
much.
afternoon. Yep, we'll see you. Whew, that was a great show. I mean, we're like it's 3 o'clock. I mean, that just went like that. Um, I love hiking. I don't do it as much as I'd like to. I've got young kids, and we're just starting to get out more and more hiking. Went to Acadia this past summer, so that's kind of like spurred in me the itch to get out and do more. So it's cool to know that the KTA, the Keystone Trails Association, is out there working on trails, maintaining the trails, and creating these awesome events for all of Pennsylvania. And of course, like we talked about, some of these cool events right here in our backyard in Lancaster County. And I think I'm biased, but Lancaster County has some beautiful trails. Kate mentioned the Middle Creek area. There's some great trails up there. The Pinnacle Point was mentioned. Kelly Run, Tuckwon Glen, some beautiful hiking down in the southern part of the county. So get outdoors. There's a lot of summer left, even though it's the end of July. There's a lot of time, right now through the fall and even into the winter to enjoy these trails that they've provided for us. Testimonial time. Just do a real quick one. Wanted to shout out our delivery team. Sometimes they get back from their delivery run on a Monday afternoon. You'll see them walk by in the background back there. I haven't seen them today, so I think it was a longer day today. But we get these testimonial forms back with feedback from our customers that have purchased mattresses. And this particular person here, Larry and Barbara, they shouted out the delivery crew. They said the delivery crew was exceptionally friendly and efficient. So simple, very much appreciated from Larry and Barbara. We appreciate their business and we appreciate the kind words. So that's it. Oh, I should say thank you to our delivery team. They do a wonderful job. So that's it for Lancaster Connects, July 29th, 2024. Man, we're more than halfway through the year. We've got some great guests lined up through the rest of the summer and into the fall. If you'd like to be a guest, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest. You'll see the guest tab up on the top. There's a form to fill out. Tell us who you are, what organization you represent. It could be a small business like Gardener's Mattress or more, like our business. It could be an organization, a nonprofit, charitable organization. We just like to share the stories of people doing great things in and around Lancaster County, like the Keystone Trail Association and Haley and Kate, my guests today. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Lancaster Connects.